Hey guys, my name is Daniel Mudheki. I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me today. Most importantly, I'd like to thank God for enabling us to be here. Well, in today's video, I'd like us to talk about something that I've always had a passion for a very long time. And this is something that also a lot of you have requested me if I could have a chance to talk about. And today's topic is on marriage and the do's, the must do's when it comes to a relationship that is leading to marriage and also when you are already in marriage. And so today's topic will definitely be of impact to those who are thinking of ever getting married, planning to get married, or even are married. And if you take a look at society today, you'll realize that marriage is honestly under siege. People have said a lot of things about marriage, that marriage doesn't work, marriage is difficult, marriage isn't a bed of roses, it's the worst thing you can ever do. And one thing I'd like to say is that marriage is like anything else. Look at an athlete, for example, who does not want to train, but then wants to go to the field and perform each and every weekend. That is impossible, because it is absolutely important that this athlete trains himself, goes through the process of training, and by the end of it, he is able to come out and perform to the level that which he wants to perform. And marriage is the same thing. You cannot go into it without proper preparation, because then, trust me, everything will not be fine. Things will crumble. You know, it reminds me of the analogy of the cookbook and the image in the cookbook. You know, if you open a cookbook or a cook magazine today, you'll see a very beautiful image of maybe a cake or whatever it is you see there. And most of us fall in love with the image. But right on the other page is an ingredient list as well as a recipe. And so the ingredient list gives you the things you must buy, all right? And the recipe gives you the process that which you must use so as to get the picture that you've fallen in love with. And this is the thing. Most of us do not want to follow the ingredient list. Maybe because we don't understand some things that are there, maybe because some things are not available, or maybe just because we choose not to. And we also do not follow the recipe that is given to us. And by the end of the day, what happens is that you end up producing something that is very different from the picture that you fell in love with. And so you start complaining and you blame maybe your oven. You know, my oven is not good enough. You blame the ingredients that you used. But let me tell you, the truth is this: you did not follow the process that the manufacturer of that cookbook requested you to do. And that's the same thing with marriage. A lot of us in society today have fallen in love with the image of marriage. You know, you think of a home, beautiful, 2 children, your wife opening the door for you, you know, you're coming home, a warm cooked meal, the fireplace is lit, and all those things. But guess what? For you to achieve that image, there is a list of ingredients and a recipe to use. And so today, I want us to talk about the 5 must-dos when it comes to a relationship leading to marriage and even in marriage. And number 1, the most important one, is foundation. My friends, foundation is absolutely important. What foundation you lay will depend on how big you can build a structure on top of it. Marriage is something we're trying to build for a lifetime. And so I always encourage people not to take any shortcuts when it comes to building a foundation, when it comes to building a base that which your marriage will lie on. And this, number 1, is very important because you must be at a point where you both remove all your masks. No masks, no hidden agendas here. What am I trying to say? That most of us, unfortunately, during this stage of either dating or marriage, we tend to show our best side. We tend to show an image that is very difficult to sustain for a long time. Okay? And so you go out of your way to impress the opposite sex, to impress your partner, doing things you know you cannot sustain. doing things you know that are outside your comfort zone, just to impress them. And unfortunately, what this does is it builds a foundation that this becomes the reality. I remember when I was dating my wife, then she was my girlfriend, and I had a small conversation with my mom. And my mom told me one thing: Daniel, a lady is like a child. Whatever you show them, whatever you introduce them to, then that becomes the normal. And that's why most of you guys out there tend to wonder why your wife or girlfriend keeps telling you, you changed, you stopped doing this, you stopped doing that. It's because at that point of foundation, you showed something that was not real. You showed something that was not going to last a lifetime. And so that becomes a challenge. You see, some of us, unfortunately, have fallen into marriages because of either financial status of someone, okay, how people look, how people dress, and the things they own. And let me tell you, these foundations are very temporary, because once anything difficult comes and shakes them, then you find that the truth of the person finally will be exposed. And this becomes difficult. And so I'll ask you, my friends, do not compromise on foundation. I'm telling you one thing: your foundation must have a pillar of honesty. At this point, be honest with each other. Don't lie to each other. It must have a pillar of trust, unquestionable trust, and it must have a pillar of loyalty. So at this point of building the foundation, do not be afraid to open up and tell your partner whatever it is that you think, if they ever came to find out later on in your marriage, would jeopardize your marriage. Number two, a very important thing for you to remember is the power of the tongue. Words have started wars in this world, and words have ended wars in this world. And I'll tell you, it is very unfortunate that we do not guard the things we say or the things we speak. In every marriage, in every relationship, there will be a push and pull. There will be arguments. However, it is absolutely important that you watch your words, because I'll tell you one thing: once you speak something, you can never take it back. Once you say something, you can never take it back. And so it is absolutely important that in any state you are in, you need to guard whatever it is you say. There's a gentleman who said that knowledge is knowing what to say. Understanding is knowing why to say it. But wisdom is knowing whether to say it. All right? You might have something you want to say, but trust me, the moment you open your mouth, you will destroy someone and not build them. And that's why I also refer to the Bible in the book of Ephesians chapter 4, which talks about every time we open our mouth, we should only speak what is beneficial to the person who's listening. We should only speak what will build and not destroy. Secondly, also in the Bible, it tells us that we should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. This process will always help you in guarding what it is you want to say. Because let me tell you, it is too costly to always be the person who's always apologizing. I'm sorry I didn't mean this. I'm sorry I didn't mean that. You might be forgiven, but those words, they break bones. Those words break hearts. And sooner than later, you might end up destroying your relationship or even destroying your marriage. And so, my friends, watch the tongue, for the power of life and death comes from it. Thirdly, I'd like to talk about the 24-hour rule. My friends, this I stumbled upon with my wife. One day we were reading the Bible, and we came across the book of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. And it said, "In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you're still angry." Wow. And we took this into practice because we have been dating since 2013. And we understood that it is absolutely important that we never allow any issue that we have to go beyond 24 hours. We never allow any dispute we have to go beyond 24 hours. Because one thing I came to realize, and actually most of you, if you look at this, you'll find it to be true, is that if you do not sort things as soon as possible, what happens is they start piling up. And things start becoming, an anthill quickly becomes a mountain. And what happens is you find yourselves throwing all your issues under the carpet because you didn't sort the last issue. All you did is you threw it under the carpet, and you ended up talking because of maybe something you had to do urgently, and so you call your spouse or you call your partner, and so you end up ignoring what issue you had and move on. However, that issue has not been sorted, and so it's under the carpet. And let me tell you one thing, those things will come and mount and mount and mount, and one day there will be a pretty big explosion in that relationship or marriage. And I'll tell you one thing that hinders a lot of you from achieving this 24-hour rule, and this is pride and ego. My friends, pride and ego has no space in any relationship. It has no space in any meaningful relationship in your life. Pride and ego will destroy you. Pride and ego will keep you from doing the right things. And I'll tell you, it is high time you checked your pride and ego. Because if it stops you from sorting out things with the people you love, then it will destroy you. And I'm telling you, that is one thing that we came to realize with my wife, that pride will always keep you from talking. You know, you'll be like, I'm not the one who messed up. I'm not the one who wronged the person, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'll be quiet until they talk about it. I'll be quiet until they apologize. And I'll tell you one thing, my friends, that by the end of the day only destroys. And so you guys end up mounting and mounting and mounting things, never talking about them. And one day they'll explode. You know, probably that's why we always hear that ladies keep issues. Maybe they don't keep issues. It's because we never sort them properly. Okay? And so it's very important for us to understand that your pride and your ego will keep you from doing the right thing. It will keep you from doing things to those that you love. And so, my friends, I want you to remember these few things we've talked about today, the must-dos. Number one is your foundation must be solid. You must be truthful at that point. Speak out whatever it is you need to speak out at that point. If the marriage is not going to work because of the truth you've spoken, then that is okay. But however, you have come out honestly and the foundation is truthful. Number two, the power of the tongue. Whatever you speak is so powerful that you must guard your tongue. Don't just speak because you want to say something. Guard your tongue and think before you speak. Will you hurt the other person or will you build them? And thirdly, we've spoken about the 24-hour rule. Your pride and ego will hinder you from sorting issues within 24 hours. And I'm telling you, when you actualize this 24-hour rule, you will seem like you never have any issues in your marriage or in your relationship. It's like a small child. My son is 2 years old. Sometimes I might spank him, but immediately he comes to me and he hugs me as his dad, and we forget about that and we move on. And we are constantly in a state of happiness and friendship with him. And that's the same thing. If adults would keep that, don't keep things too long. Sort them out. 24 hours, finish it, and I'm telling you, you're back to where you're meant to be and you keep growing. And so this topic is pretty big. I will not be able to speak about everything. However, in the next series, we'll continue talking about marriage and relationships, and I hope that you'll keep tuned in this series, and may God bless you. And so until next time, take care and keep safe. Goodbye, guys.